Am I recording this? Yeah, I am. It's been a while. Hello, besties, and welcome to Farhad, the show about my life where nothing happens. I haven't changed that intro yet. I probably should. So recently, our good friend Kimmy K has made some headlines all around the world because she made some pretty out of touch comments. Ugh.
Get your ass up and work.
Look, no hate. Truly, no hate to Kim K. This is not a video taking her down. This is not a video about her being a bad person or anything like that. Although there will be quite a few criticisms about Kimmy K in this video, so maybe it is a takedown. I don't really know yet. We'll see how the video goes. It's also super unfortunate that Kimmy K's comments came the day after International Women's Day. Like, talk about bad timing. But I wanted to make this video because you may have heard the comments that Kimmy K made and thought, oh shit, like, here we go again, another rich, powerful woman telling me that I need to get my ass up and work. But you know what? I'm here to tell you that I don't want to work and that you shouldn't have to either. So this is going to be a nice little chat about work, about hustle culture, about Kimmy K's comments, about Kimmy K's general attitude towards work and wealth. But you know, pull up a chair, grab a bottle of water, drink your water if you haven't already. And I hope you enjoy this little chat among besties. In case you're living under a rock or you don't go online or you don't use Twitter because you shouldn't use Twitter, don't use Twitter. Twitter fucking sucks. But in case you missed it, the Kardashian family recently had a sit-down interview with Variety, and Kim Kardashian decided to give some very unsolicited advice to the girl bosses of the world to help empower them, I guess.
I have the best advice for women in business. Get your fucking ass up and work.
Get your ass up and work. Get your ass up and work. Get your ass up and work.
It seems like nobody wants to work these days. You
That's
have to,
so true.
You have to surround yourself with people that want to work.
Now, there's a lot to get into with this because it's ridiculous. But her comments do really go to the heart of the issue around the problems that we have around a very productivity-focused hustle culture, you know? It's all about working yourself to the bones. It's all about sacrificing your things for your work. It's all about dedicating your life to your work. And don't do it, all right? I'm going to tell you, don't do it. And I think the funniest thing about this is, like, what does Kim Kardashian truly know about the struggles of the everyday woman trying to make ends meet? What does she know about the everyday woman trying to just get work or to survive?
That's so true.
You have to surround yourself with people that want to work.
And she talks about surrounding herself with business people, which I guess in this case would be her family, because they're very laser focused on building wealth and building money and building power and, influence. Like, it's the equivalent of a straight white guy getting a graduate role at his uncle's law firm despite not being at the top of his class. Like, how much of that was talent? How much of that was hard work? How much of that was nepotism? And again, with all due respect to the hard work that she has done to get to where she is now, no one, without exception, can become a billionaire without exploiting the labor and the backs of underprivileged people to get to where they are. Kim Kardashian is not the one hand sewing all these swimsuits to get them out to people to sell. Like, no, she's got a team of people she's underpaying, a team of people she's exploiting to make herself even higher. Like, is that the kind of message that we want to send out to the people of the world that are trying to start businesses? Like, if you want to be successful, just exploit the backs of people from third world countries and you'll be fine. It's even more ironic and quite frankly sad that 7 of her ex-housekeepers came forward to file a lawsuit accusing Kim Kardashian of essentially underpaying them, not reimbursing them for their expenses, not paying them overtime, and not giving them sufficient meal breaks. I mean, her advice to those people is you just gotta work. You just gotta work.
That's so true.
You have to surround yourself.
But with all this kind of in the air right now, I want to instead focus on what can we, the everyday people of the world, learn from this? Well, I think for one, and I'm just gonna say it, I don't want to work. I'm not saying that I don't want a job or that I don't want to have a successful career or anything like that. Like, I love my job. I'll probably be at the company that I am for the next, 5 to 10 years, to be honest. But I'm not going to pretend that work is my life. And I'm not going to pretend to get my ass up and work every day for the sole fact of wanting more money, I guess, or wanting to build more wealth. Like, there are more important things, like catching up on Netflix shows. Like, what do you want from me? I don't think anyone that I work with would ever pretend to have this kind of mentality of getting your ass up and working in this kind of a way. Like, there's work and then there's whatever Kim Kardashian is doing.
That's so true.
You have
And look, as much as I respect Kim for building the empire that she has, she's built it off the back of very impoverished people that she's exploited to broaden her own economic and political power. Like, it's not that admirable and it's not that inspirational. And if anything, it's just an indictment on capitalist structures that benefit the already wealthy to help them become even more wealthy. And you know, there's all this stuff about like, oh, you know, we all have the same 24 hours, we all have the same amount of time in the day. If you can't understand what's ridiculous about that statement, you've never had to work to survive. You get to just work to thrive, which is a luxury for a lot of people.
That's so true.
You have
Like, I don't think we need to pretend to, you know, only want to work. Like, some people don't want to work, and that's fine. And I know her advice was specifically for like women who want to get into business. Sure, I get it. You do need to work hard. But at the same time, what kind of advice is that? Like, work hard? That's not tangible. That's not something that actually helps anyone. That's not anything that gives anyone inspiration. So I'm here to tell you that I'm not going to be one of those people who gets my ass up to work. Nah, not me. Sorry. I'm going to be one of those people who doesn't work as hard as other people because you know what? Why should I? I'm not going to get my ass up to work because Kimmy K told me to. I'm going to get my ass up to work because I want buns of steel for next summer. Summer's already over. I've got a whole year to get ready for the next one. I don't think we need to prioritize working as much as like what some celebrities, especially influencers who found fame through YouTube or Instagram or whatever else they do, because their type of work is going to always be very different to the type of work you do. And I say that because I work a 9-to-5 job. I do volunteer work outside of that. So it's very difficult to hear people say you just need to work harder because that's not advice. It's like opening a fortune cookie and seeing something that says, you will have a good day. Will I? How do you know that? I want to see the scientific proof to show me that I'm going to have a good day. Because you know what, buddy? You and me, you little cookie bitch, I don't think I am going to have a good day. I don't know where I was going with that. So if you're one of those people who hears Kim Kardashian and other influencers talk about how you need to just work hard to get your goals, if you're one of those people, well then, chill out. Like, I'm here to tell you, don't worry about it, man. Like, we'll be fine. I'm being critical of Kim Kardashian for giving shitty advice, and then here I am giving you even shittier advice. But the good thing with my advice is it doesn't require you to work hard. It requires you to do less work. It requires you to chill out. It requires you to go on HBO Max or binge if you're in Australia and binge watch all of Raised by Wolves. That show is so good. I'm telling you, it's so good. If you're not watching Raised by Wolves, what are you doing? Stop watching this idiot. Go watch Raised by Wolves.
That's so true.
You have
Now, as I said, I did mention, I do think it's kind of unfortunate because I think Kim Kardashian does sometimes use her influence for good. Like her work on justice reform and shining a light on unfair sentences that a lot of people of color have been receiving in America. Like, she was really doing a lot to try and make America a little bit of a better place to live. And that, I think, is very admirable. But then I feel like she's thrown it all away by turning around to all the other poor people of the world and saying, if you're poor, just work a little bit harder, I guess. And you know, when she was working on justice reform, she did get a lot of flack because she was working with Donald Trump to try and, you know, change the laws and change some policies. But of all the things that I would like to criticize Kimmy K on, I do think that is a little bit unfair because at the end of the day, you can only choose your government and representation through voting, right? Now, unless you're going to wait till the next election to wait for a different government to be in power that you might align yourself with a little bit better. But, you know, to make real and lasting change, you do need to learn to work with and negotiate with people who you might not necessarily agree with. And that's just the facts of life. Like, in saying that, I still think Trump's an absolute clown. And I'm not saying, you know, we should respect that in any way, but I can respect her for at least trying. Now, I do want to preface this video by saying I'm not anti-Kimmy K. I'm not like one of those haters who think, oh, she's only famous for being famous or anything like that. Like, no. I mean, I've never watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians and I probably never will, but like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, people who like that show aren't good, because let me tell you, I've watched every single episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and I don't regret it one bit. Actually, I do regret the last 2 seasons. That was a bit of a mess.
That's so true.
You have
Like, I'm not pretending to be above reality TV at all, right? Like, I love reality TV when it's good. Honestly, one of the main reasons why I won't start watching Kardashians is because I know I'm gonna get hooked and end up watching every single episode. Like, I'll be the first to admit, man, like, very early lockdown 2020, I had this insane phase where I watched every single episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which is fine. And when I ran out of episodes, I started watching like best fights of Real Housewives compilation videos on YouTube for hours. You could probably tell I was very single back then. But, you know, whatever. Like, if you like the show, that's great. If you don't like the show, that's also fine. People like Kimmy K for different reasons now, I guess. Like, she's got her own skincare line, she's got her own clothing line. But I think we can all collectively agree that Kim's comments are just so out of touch with reality and so out of touch with, like, the everyday lives of, like, every person on the planet other than those who are uber successful or uber rich or born into like a social status that they can then use to uplift themselves even further. And it's kind of frustrating to see her become what she has, because I honestly, truly in my heart think she could have been so much more and she could have done so much more. You know, I think she has a very compelling story. I think she's overcome a lot, and I think she's been treated very unfairly by, you know, the general population and by the media. That said, as I say this, I'm remembering a time back in like 2016 when, you know, Kimmy had that whole thing with Taylor Swift where she basically called Taylor a liar and started that whole thing against Tay online that was so vicious. And as much as I want to say like, oh, how dare she do that? Like, I'm never going to forgive Kimmy K for what she did to Taylor Swift. But the more I think about it, the more I realize that that whole situation may have been the catalyst to a lot of the themes that took place in what I think is one of Taylor's best albums, Reputation. So, you know, I might let it slide, because as much as I feel bad for Taylor for having to go through that, I'm kind of happy that we all got the Reputation album out of the whole situation. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I've inspired you to not work so hard, to work smart, not hard, people. That's the way of life. Kimmy K should get that written on her next pair of Skims or whatever it is she makes. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give the video a like. It really helps my channel out. Don't forget to also subscribe to the channel and turn your bell notifications on. Like, what have you got to lose? Nothing. I hope you enjoyed my last video, which is all about Shrek. If you haven't already seen it, go watch it. I put a lot of effort into it and I had a lot of fun doing it. So let me know what you think over there. And I think that's everything I wanted to say today. So until next time, besties, bye.